Hello guys, and welcome back to the Perfect Timepiece channel. Today we are going to be talking about the top alternatives to the Rolex Submariner, but now we're talking about more higher end pieces. You'll notice that last week's video I actually talked about very kind of cheap, affordable alternatives. Most of the alternatives that I listed were under $1,000. So if that's kind of your price range and you want to check out that video, there will be a link over here. But today we are going to be looking a little bit further out into the price range. So our lowest watch is anywhere from $750, that is, all the way up to about $4,000. And the reason why I picked the $4,000 cutoff is because that is approximately the price, the going price, of a used Rolex Submariner. So if you're really set on getting a Rolex Submariner, you could just buy a used one for the price of some of these watches. So before I get into my in-depth research here that has taken me years to compile, I would like to thank all of you for recently subscribing. The channel has grown a lot recently, and my videos have been doing pretty well. So thank you all for being so awesome. And yeah, I think we're gonna hit 1,000 subscribers real soon, probably either this week or next week. So I do have a very special video planned for that. All right, guys, so let us hop right on in to the content of today's video. First up, we have the Longines Hydro Conquest. There will be pictures to all these watches over here. So this watch is approximately $750 to $1,000. One of the people who watch my videos actually commented this as a suggestion on my last video, so again, if you haven't seen that one, definitely go check it out. But this, you know, I don't really have to talk about Longines or tell you about their history in watches. They've been around for a while. They're a member of the Swatch Group, and I think this Longines Hydro Conquest is one of the best offerings from Longines at the moment, and I think it does offer a pretty good value for your money. So I'm actually going to move on. Personally, I'm not too big of a fan of Longines and their offerings, and I do want to kind of keep this video a little bit shorter because recently my videos have been getting longer and longer. So I am going to move on. If you like Longines, that's fine. Go ahead and buy the Longines. My personal opinion is should not really persuade you that much. So let us move on to the next company, which is a company that I really do like. This is Auris, and I'm gonna recommend the Auris Date. This is a very spectacular looking watch. Auris is a company that is known for their quality when looking at watches. Personally, I think the quality is right up there. From what I've seen in Auris, the pictures that I've seen, the watches that I personally have held that are Auris watches, just immaculate, immaculate finishing, up to the level of Christopher Ward, or you know, I would say probably a notch below Omega, a very, very small notch below Omega. Obviously, Auris uses the standard ETA 28-24 movements, while Omega has the in-house movements. That's kind of what sets them apart. But I do think the level of finishing on the case and on the dial is just a step below Omega, and I think the Longines is probably a step below Auris. So the Auris Date comes in at $1,300. I'm not sure if I mentioned that yet. But I do think that the jump in quality and the level of finishing definitely makes the Auris justify its price. So, time for me to flip a page. 2 watches on each page of my very detailed report. Up next, this watch is a personal favorite of mine. I'm not too big of a fan of the company. This is Tag Heuer, and the watch that I'm talking about today is their Aqua Racer Caliber 5. The Caliber 5 movement is a Tag Heuer in-house movement, although I do believe it is largely based on the ETA 2824 again. This comes in at $2,000. It has a ceramic bezel, which is very, very nice. This is definitely reminiscent of the Rolex Submariner in terms of its design and styling, but it does have it is a very interesting looking piece, and it is one that definitely appeals to me. And I think even if I had a Rolex Submariner, I would probably still own an Aqua Racer, simply because it does have kind of its own design cues with the different styled hands and the arrow-tipped second hand, which does make the watch stand out. At only $2,000 brand new, from the gray market, that is, it offers an incredible, incredible value, and I have seen this watch go on sale in the used market in great condition for $1,100 to $1,500, which is kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy, considering, you know, you could get a brand new Christopher Ward for that amount of money. I think the brand reputation with Tag is definitely higher than it is with Christopher Ward, if that's something that matters to you. If it isn't, I still think the Tag Heuer is just a notch above the Christopher Ward or the Auris. Not really in terms of finishing, but maybe in terms of design. Again, that is a personal preference, but you know, you have to make a decision for yourself. Up next, we're going from $2,000 with that tag to $2,800 to $3,200. This is the Breitling Super Ocean. I think I would be an idiot if I didn't mention the Breitling Super Ocean in this video. It is a very, very stunning piece. Again, another piece that, in addition to the Rolex Submariner, I would probably want a Breitling Super Ocean. If you get it in black, it comes in at about $2,800, and if you get it in blue, it's about $3,200. Now, the blue, I think, is just stunning. The hour hand is pretty iconic. It has that giant arrowhead on it. Might not be your style or your taste, but I do think that it is a very elegant watch, very classically designed, and I do think that this design will age well, and I think it will be kind of a classic watch, which obviously the Rolex Submariner is pretty classic. And with all of these watches, they're very conservatively designed, because the Rolex Submariner is pretty conservatively designed, and all of these watches are trying to match or do a spin-off of that design. So they're all pretty conservatively designed, and they will be kind of timeless pieces that you can pass from generation to generation, which is something that actually is really appealing to me as a watch collector. We're gonna move on because I think this video is already getting pretty long. So up next, we have two Omegas, and they're very differently priced. So up next we have the Omega Seamaster 300 meter version of the watch. This is $2,700. It has a very interesting designed hands. Not personally my favorite. I would probably get the Tag or the Breitling Super Ocean before I get the Omega 300 meter, but people definitely do like this watch. I believe that one of these watches, or a special edition of this watch, was in a Bond movie, so if movie lineage is important to you, then you should, you could definitely pick up one of these pieces and be wearing the same watch that Mr. Bond is wearing. Again, I'm not entirely, I don't know a whole lot about this particular watch. It's not something that has really appealed to me, so I personally haven't done a whole lot of research on it. But I'm going to move on to the Omega that I prefer over the 300 meter. This is the Omega Seamaster 600 meter. It is $3,900, so it is $1,200 more expensive than the 300 meter edition. Obviously, with all of these watches, they are pretty expensive, but you can find used versions of them that are in great condition on the used market for significant amounts of money off. So the Omega Seamaster 600 meter is very, very interesting. I believe this has a ceramic bezel, whereas the 300 meter didn't have a ceramic bezel. So that is one pretty big, important upgrade to the 600 meter version. The 600 meter version, obviously, as the name suggests, is water resistant to 600 meters. So that is double the water resistance of the 300 meter edition of the watch, and it also has in an interesting turn of events. It has an open or exhibition case back, which is definitely interesting to see on a diving watch, and it is hard to do with the 600 meters of water resistance because instead of having one piece of glass on the front that you have to protect from water, you have two different pieces, and there's a big long explanation. The engineering behind it is very complicated, but I do really appreciate what Omega is offering for this price. Again, at $3,900 or just under $4,000, you are getting very, very close to used Rolex territory. And we're not talking like used from 30 years ago, poorly maintained. We're talking like used from 4 or 5 years ago in really, really good condition. So you do have to kind of weigh your options. Do you want to buy one of these $2,000 watches, or do you want to say, if you have $2,000, you have almost, you have half of a used Rolex. So the question to you is, do you want to save your money and buy the used Rolex, or whatever? I mean, I know some people personally that just won't buy used ever. They're just too skeptical of previous owners or whatnot. I personally think that you save a lot of money if you buy used. But yeah, and I think I have a video on the channel about how to buy used, so there will definitely be a link over here to that video as well. That pretty much wraps up our report. I'm going to throw this away. And I'd like to thank you for watching. My name is Josh, and I will see you all next time. Bye.